everyone. Thanks for joining us at the Clark Planetarium today for our first virtual engineering challenge. Here at the Planetarium, we love exploring the world around us and learning about science, technology, and engineering. Today's engineering challenge is about something that's really important for us to understand for life and exploration, and that's air. Air doesn't seem that exciting because we can't see it, but it's all around us and it affects us all the time. Understanding air helps us to use it to move, gather energy, and explore beyond where we could normally go. Air is the medium that humans, birds, and insects use for flight. To better understand physics and how engineers have designed planes to use air for travel, science, and even space exploration, our engineering challenge today is to create the farthest flying paper airplane. So, first we're going to talk about some concepts of physics. Let's talk a little bit more about air. Air acts a lot like a liquid, actually, and in fact, some physicists call it a subclass of fluids. It flows just like water, and the molecules that make it up move around the objects that are moving through it, just like how water moves around a boat going down a river. So the same thing happens as airplanes move through the sky. The air flows around and past the airplane, and that's what helps it stay in the air. With a paper airplane, it's going to act a little bit differently, but it'll have the same basic physics. So an airplane wing isn't just flat, it's what we call an airfoil. And the airfoil is really important to create what we call lift. So lift keeps the plane in the air. The airfoil is important because it uses pressure differences. These pressure differences are created because the air on top is moving faster, which creates lower pressure, and the air on bottom moves slower, which creates lower pressure. This pressure difference pulls the plane up. Now, staying in the air is important, but so is going forward, and that's called thrust. With a paper airplane, your hand is going to be providing most of the thrust. However, in commercial planes, they usually have engines to push them forward and give them thrust. So, these things are really important to keep it in the air, but there's also some physics that are keeping it from staying in the air. That is drag and gravity. Drag is the air pushing against the airplane and slowing it down. So similar to trying to boat or swim upstream, if the water pushes back against your progress, it's not very fun. So, drag increases when the shape of the plane doesn't cut through the air neatly like you do when you swim. So, it's because the air is running into surfaces and creating friction, which slows the plane down. This is similar to how the brakes work in your car. This is why most airplanes have pointed noses and have a streamlined body so they can slice through the air very neatly. And you don't want too many things sticking out on the side to create more of that drag. The wings in the plane also have to have enough lift to overcome gravity. And part of this is called camber, which is the shape of the wing. The more lift you create, the longer your plane can stay in the air. To create more lift, you can bend the wing slightly to change the airflow of the air of the wing. Or you can also create different weight distribution, because you're going to have some amount of weight on the plane, which will create gravity pulling it down, but you can change where that weight is, and sometimes that'll help your plane fly straight as opposed to flying funky, nosediving, or falling backwards. So, understanding these concepts of physics, we've got lift, thrust, and then drag and gravity counteracting it. We're going to jump into our challenge. Okay, when you're ready to participate in the challenge, you're going to grab some paper, a pen, and some paper airplane designs. You can use any kind of design that you want. We'll post a couple that we like, the links to them in the chat, in the comments, and you can check out which ones you think are the coolest or that will fly the farthest. Make sure you think about if you have any origami experience, as sometimes that can make some of the paper airplanes more difficult. But once you found 3 that you like, 3 or more, build them, and then don't fly them yet, but hang on to them. And we're going to first create a table. We want your table to create enough columns to keep all of your trial numbers. We're going to do at least 3 trials to make it very scientific and accurate, and then an average column so that you can calculate the average of each of the throws. Then have enough rows for each of the planes that you want to fly. Chris here has 3 planes that he's going to test today, and so he's got the names of those on the far left, and the rest of the table is set up for when we take our measurements. So grab your tables, the paper airplanes that you want to fly, and then find a nice long hallway where you're not going to run into people. Luckily we're at the planetarium, so we've got a big long hallway here with the ISS over there. So we're going to set it up by getting a nice spot for Chris to stand. He's got a little X so that he knows to stand in the same place every time to make sure each of the planes has an even, equal flight. And to complete the experiment, you're going to take each of your planes and throw them. And you can throw them as hard or as soft as you'd like to see how far they go. That was a beautiful one. Now you're going to do this with each of your planes, and whoa, after you've thrown the planes that you want, you're going to throw them again. Each time between the throws, you're going to mark how far away they are by stepping heel to toe, very carefully as Chris is doing, up to the plane. And this will be your distance for each of the planes that you've thrown. So make sure that after you throw each of your planes, that you mark how far they have gone. Now you can measure your foot later and convert it to inches or centimeters if you like, or you can just use steps as your measurement distance. Now we're going to come back, gather up our planes, and create the results of our experiment. So, now that we've thrown our planes and Chris has measured how far that they went, you're going to add them up and create an average column. And now this is the point where you can ask yourself which one actually did go the farthest, which one flew the straightest, which one looked the coolest, which one flew the farthest on average, or which one flew the farthest overall. And once you have these, there's a couple things that you can then do to change up your planes a little bit. There's several adjustments that you can make to change how far or even how long your plane will fly. So we've got a nice paper airplane here, and this paper airplane has elevators in the back of it. Elevators are usually found on the tail sections of an airplane, but for the paper airplanes, you can simply adjust the back edge of the wing. So, and we've also got special flaps on this F-15 that is going to help guide the air a little bit. So you can try adding some of those guidance systems like that. Or you can also just change the shape of the wing. We generally like to create a nice crisp edge, change the elevators, and give it a nice Y shape with both of the wings coming together in a kind of an upward shape. But you can change lots of different aspects about your plane, or you can add some weight, use a paper clip to add weights at different sections, or you can just change the way that you throw it. Change it at different angles, or throw it harder or gentler. And this is going to change a lot about how that airflow is moving past the wings of your plane and create some differences. So after you've played around with your plane a little bit, try doing the tests again and seeing what works best. Now, we'd love to hear about all the different paper airplanes that you tested, and which ones works best, which ones did not. And if you want to learn more about planes, we have some awesome options in the store. We've got these special fighter jets that have really interesting shapes. We also even have a shuttle. This one's a little bit different. It's also more of a glider than like the paper airplanes. You can see the boosters in the back are the thrust for it. So, thanks for being a part of our challenge today. We hope you had fun building paper airplanes. Let us know how your tests went, and we'll see you next week for another engineering challenge. Bye. Nice throw, Chris.